how many women tell me when they get in the car, like, oh, I'm so glad you're my driver.
Uber says it can't guarantee a woman driver, but if riders turn on the preference, it will increase their chances. Uber also plans to offer women drivers the option to request women riders, including during peak nighttime hours. But some of the men at the PDX driver holding area say these options aren't necessary.
The Uber company got the info of the driver and the passengers. So nobody can do any trouble for anybody.
It's gonna bring more women by women in the business. So I think it's not a good idea.
But women drivers say men don't understand what they face.
One guy in the vehicle asked if he could kiss me. Luckily, we were already at the drop-off point, and I was like, no, thank you.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with a homicide investigation in Vancouver. What police know so far and what they're still trying to figure out. Plus,
you're a joke. Complete joke.
Emotions pouring out of the courtroom yesterday as the families of the University of Idaho students killed by Bryan Kohberger get to address the killer face to face. We're going to recap yesterday's sentencing, including more statements from the loved ones ripped apart by those murders.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:59 on your Thursday morning drive. Let's get you out the door with the trip through Clackamas. It's slow rolling right now on 205 from Clackamas to Gladstone. Earlier trouble in West Lynn on I-205 has cleared, but the residual delay here is significant, so plan extra time there. That's the live look in that side of town. I-5 through Tualatin, normal slow and go action northbound through the 205 interchange. Interstate 84, the Banfield, no trouble, but just thick. Here's a quick look at your drive times. Right now, you're looking at about 30 minutes to get you in from Troutdale. And last but not least, I-5 through North Portland, slow and go there. The drive from Main Street, just shy of 30 to get you to the Fremont Bridge. Rod?
All right, Chris, thanks for that. Good morning. We obviously are off to another sunny start. Here's our live camera down in Salem. 64 degrees, starting to rise up in the 8 o'clock hour upcoming here. And Portland, 61, northwest winds at 6 miles per hour. This will be another day with generally light northwest winds and clear skies for the most part. Not quite as warm as yesterday, 76 at noon, but we could still get up to about 87 for a high temperature.
He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse.
Now at 8, piercing words and emotional testimony from inside a Boise courtroom as Bryan Kohberger sentenced to the rest of his life behind bars. And the investigation into the murder of 4 University of Idaho students comes to a close.
Also this morning, 2 people dead, 2 others hurt in one East Vancouver neighborhood. Homicide investigators with very few answers so far. We'll share what police do know. And later.
These dollars will cover the ODOT budget in order to maintain basic services for Oregonians.
Governor Tina Kotek has announced her new plan to fund ODOT. The latest on the plan to and the push back against potential fee increases ahead on KGW News at sunrise. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Let's bring Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill into the mix. Boys, let's talk weather and traffic, shall we?
Boys.
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 Men.
No.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Fellas.
Now we're talking. I like fellas, too. All right. Good morning to you. Our Salem tasting room camera showing the sunny skies. This is a day that will be similar to yesterday, but we'll bring it down 2, 3, maybe even 4 degrees. Yesterday, PDX hit 90 and Salem hit 93. We think we'll hold in the 80s. Right now, 64. Going to be a warm morning and certainly noticeably warm as we get into the afternoon hours. Portland, 61 temperature. I'm not sure if that's updated for the 8 o'clock number yet. It should have. 76 degrees at noon, and then I've got us 87 at 5 p.m. Again, winds today will be fairly light. You folks at the coast, I know, are cloudy, and it's another day where it's going to be a bit of a guessing game as to who clears out at the beach and who doesn't. Again, right now, 61 in Portland. Chris?
Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you out the door with a live look at the roads. We'll take you into Clackamas. We've had some trouble southbound on 205 in the Westland area. That is out of the way, but there still are residual delays on 205 south. Although, as I say that, in the last little while, we are beginning to improve. Plan a few extra minutes on that side of town. I-5 through Tualatin, that's your northbound commute through the 205 interchange. Northbound, we're slow there. We're slow at 217, of course. Quick check of the inbound 84 drive, the Banfield. There's the on-ramp from Hollywood, and you can see traffic is bunched up a bit there. Right now, 33 minutes to the drive from Wilsonville, almost 30 minutes to the drive in from Troutdale. And a quick check, well, that's kind of like a parking lot, isn't it? That's an everyday thing. I-5 southbound through North Portland is thick. Guys, at last check, we're still looking at 25 minutes to get you from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
Thank you, Chris.
In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration.
What you just heard from there was the judge during Bryan Kohberger's sentencing yesterday. Kohberger will now serve 4 consecutive life terms in prison after pleading guilty to the murders of 4 University of Idaho students.
Sebastian Robertson with our sister station in Seattle brings us more from inside the courtroom.
Hands shackled and an inmate orange, Bryan Kohberger sat devoid of emotion through hours of testimony, denouncing his admitted crimes and at times him personally.
He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive?
For the first time, we heard from the 2 surviving roommates of 1122 King Road. Both were home at the time of the killings.
He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing.
Family of Xana, Madison, and Kaylee all delivered victim impact statements. The family of Ethan Chapin did not attend the hearing. Rage came from the father of Kaylee Gonsalves.
You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but 2 initials forgotten to the wind.
Kaylee's big sister Olivia did not mince words, vowing to not let her anger feed a man she described as a beast.
Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your ass.
Among the raw emotions, there were moments of grace, notably from Xana's mother, who, through her faith, washed her hands of her daughter's killer.
Jesus has allowed me to forgive you for murdering my daughter without you even being sorry. This forgiveness has released me from any and all evil you have inflicted on me and my family.
Of note, the judge did not stop the proceedings at any point, allowing the victims to speak for as long as they needed. Before delivering his sentence, the judge says he hopes that Bryan Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame is over. In Boise, I'm Sebastian Robertson.
Meanwhile, unsealed documents are giving some new insight into Kohberger's behavior after he was arrested. Police interviewed a jail inmate who was in a cell right next to Kohberger's. He described the killer as, quote, intelligent and polite for the most part. But the inmate also said he quickly became annoying because of some of his habits. He said Kohberger would wash his hands dozens of times a day and spent 45 minutes to an hour in the shower. He also mentioned that Kohberger would stay awake almost all night long. Detectives asked point blank if Kohberger ever mentioned anything to the inmate about the murders, but the inmate said he didn't.
And even with these new documents, there's still a question the families may never get answered. Why? Kohberger only spoke 3 words at the sentencing. When he was asked whether he wanted to speak, he said, quote, I respectfully decline. The county prosecutor believes that was for the best.
I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be the truth. I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be anything other than self-serving. And I don't believe there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would not further victimize the families.
Kohberger's mother and his sister were both in the courtroom during the sentencing. They sat in the gallery near the defense table. Reporters who were inside say his mother cried throughout the hearing and sobbed briefly when a victim's family mentioned that her heart goes out to the family of the perpetrator.
We have a lot more from Kohberger's sentencing yesterday, including more statements from the victims' families available on our YouTube channel and right here on our streaming TV app, KGW+.
Here locally, 2 people died and 2 others were injured in what police described as a frightening scene last night in an East Vancouver neighborhood not far from Evergreen High School.
So this all started with a 911 call right around 6:15 from a man who lives in that neighborhood. He told police that a man he didn't know, carrying a shotgun, broke into his house through a window and then attacked him. That man was able to get away, but police say he was injured during the fight. Officers then started to check other homes in the area, and they came across one other home with 2 more victims inside, a man and a woman. They say the woman was already dead when they got there, and the man was injured. Later, police found a man who matched the suspect's description, dead, inside a 3rd home, with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Needless to say, neighbors were shocked by everything that happened.
It's terrifying. My parents live here. They're retired, peaceful. I grew up in this neighborhood, and we never had anything remotely close to something like this happening. So, it kind of worries me thinking, they might be at risk.
Well, police say they believe there's no further threat to the public. The 2 men who were injured during all of this last night were taken to the hospital.
We're tracking a new wildfire that popped up yesterday afternoon in Klickitat County on the Washington side of the gorge. Level 3 go-now evacuations have been ordered for the Brewer Road fire that's stretching from Klickitat to Wauquiakus. Early estimates have this fire at just over 50 acres.
Just about 10 miles from that fire, crews have made some more progress on the Burdoyne fire burning between Bingen and Lisle. This one is now 13% contained. It has, though, already burned over 11,000 acres. Firefighters say they've built what they're describing as a defensible space around homes in that area. We also know Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is scheduled to visit the area later this morning. We're going to stream his remarks live as they happen, starting at 10:30 right here on KGW+.
And let's go over to meteorologist Rod Hill for a look at some of those details.
Yeah, and I think when you read the discussion from yesterday, and Drew and China shared some of the good news points for that discussion, they really had a pretty good day. The crews are battling the blaze. The biggest one is the Burdoyne fire, which is 11,000 acres, more than that. But they got some containment lines built. Drew and China mentioned they cleared brush and fuels around all the homes they they could come to. There's like 1,000 homes in this area. So did they really do that? It sounds like they did. Up to 50 feet in parameter around the homes. The winds today continue to be consistently from the west 10 to 20, maybe some gusts to 25. That's the same type of deal the fire crews there dealt with yesterday. So fingers crossed, we'll have more good news to report to you once today comes to an end. Again, the fire basically, so Bingen, if you don't know the area, you've got Hood River, and then you cross the bridge into Washington, you've got White Salmon. And then there's a little town just east of White Salmon, almost connected, if you will, that's called Bingen. So the fire's just east of Bingen, and it stops before you get to Lisle, which is before you get into Wasco County. So that's the area that we're basically talking about. And by the way, this shows you these little fire emblems, all the current large wildfires burning in Oregon, Washington. Remember, large means 100 acres or more if it's burning timber, which those fires in the gorge are. If it's just grasslands, you have to get up to 300 acres to make this map. Not that you want to make the map. And the biggest cluster continues to be down in southwestern Oregon. And this cluster largely goes all the way back to the first 10 days in July, where we had several clusters of lightning activity that fired off those blazes. Other than that, really, so far, you know, fingers crossed, the wildfire map isn't overly busy. So let's hope we don't see that change. Clear skies out in the gorge this morning. Here's the Oregon Veterans Home camera in the Dalles 72, and there's that wind, northwest, gusting to 23. It's picked up since sunrise, but not expected to really get much stronger than that throughout the day. Downtown Portland, we have kind of a gentle light to northwest breeze outside. 61 is the temperature, so I guess that is 8 o'clock number. So we haven't really changed from 7:30 this morning. 59 up in Kelso, 68 in Bend. All inland areas are sunny except for you folks up in Calais County. Kelso, Longview reporting cloudy skies on 59. Those are low marine clouds that will clear out during the day. And the coast, you'll be in the 60s. You have morning clouds. Probably some of you see some afternoon sun and other spots will not. Here's the map later this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Still showing some low 90s, Madras, Pendleton, and the Dalles. But we'll hold in the 80s up and down I-5 here in the valley in our 7-day forecast. We go 87 today. Portland, if we have low clouds tomorrow morning, we'll struggle to get up to 80, and certainly the cool down with low cloudiness and potentially highs only in the 70s for your upcoming weekend. So, Chris, the weekend gets back to some really nice, comfortable weather, sir.
I mean, by late July standards, we know it can be a lot hotter than that. That's some pretty comfortable stuff. All right, let's get you out to Washington County. We've got a traffic alert right now west of Banks on Highway 26. Just getting word of a wreck near the Highway 47 interchange here, where 47 and 26 overlap or overlay for a little while. There is some local slowing in the area. The road remains open, but just be aware of that. Keeping it on the west side, 217 southbound near Denny. You can see that southbound commute puttering along this morning. There's the live look. By the way, 217 heads up this weekend. There's an overnight closure Saturday night. It's a full closure both directions for 8 hours from midnight to 8 a.m. as they continue work on the Hall Boulevard overpass. They're doing some work to get that cleaned up and ready to open soon. Not open yet, but the Hall Boulevard overpass will be opening sometime later next month, is what ODOT says. There's the live look at the Sylvan Hill. That's a little thick. Your inbound Sunset still averaging about 25 minutes to get you from Hillsborough to downtown. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up here on Sunrise, concern, confusion, you could even say outrage from some people about proposed changes from the state of Oregon that would greatly impact local family-friendly farms. We'll have more on this story coming up, and we're also talking about a wildfire that destroyed a home, but what firefighters from Bend left behind at that home is now giving a family hope. The unlikely discovery as this community looks to rebuild.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. New this morning, outrage over potential changes coming to family-friendly farms in Oregon. Places like the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival in Woodburn and Topaz Farm over on Sauvie Island have posted videos on social media asking people that is for help about this. They say policy changes at the state level could greatly impact things like their harvest festivals, you-pick opportunities, and farm-to-table dinners. Perhaps even forcing farms to shut down these activities altogether. The State Department of Land Conservation and Development is behind this list of proposed changes. Some of the proposals include clarifying what type of activities can operate with a farm stand permit and what types of products farms are allowed to sell or not allowed to sell. We talked to one of the owners at Topaz Farms about all this.
The realities of farming are horrible, meaning the economics are just terrible. It's extremely difficult at this scale to make any money. You have to have diversification. If you can't have a farm stand or farm-to-table dinners or harvest festivals in the fall, sunflower festivals, these are the kind of things that allow you to stay in business.
Our team at The Story did a deep dive on this and spoke with the policy manager for the state about what's behind the potential rule changes. You can watch that full report on our TV app, KGW Plus.
All right, let's head over to meteorologist Ron Hill for a look at weather.
I'm here. Captain Obvious, I realize this.
Announcing his
Welcome.
We have another sunny day. I think the headline is yesterday we hit 90, today we won't. Pretty good headline, right? A lot of people will like that headline, I think. Right there at the bottom, see some showers firing over parts of northern Nevada and getting over into Utah. So down near the California border, and especially southeast, there is a storm chance later today into this evening. Otherwise, the only thing we're really watching is this push of marine clouds. Solid cloud cover at the coast this morning again, and also up into Kelso Longview. And of course, we're watching what the clearing pattern from that will eventually be. We do know, you folks up in Cowlitz County, that's a high confidence call that you will clear out of the clouds. But the beach, especially Astoria, Seaside Cannon Beach, Tillamook, maybe even inland a little bit, could get stuck under the clouds much of the day today. Here's Timberline. This is beautiful. A shot over the summit, and there's the Palmer snowfield and just perfectly clear blue skies. And pretty warm, 6,000 feet and at 55 degrees. So that's a clue that this overall batch of air that produced 90 in Portland yesterday and 93 in Salem yesterday is still pretty warm. Now we think as we go through the day, the air cools down a few degrees, just enough to keep us in the 80s. But still, it'll be pretty warm out there if you're out and about 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Here's the Reserve Beaners and Golf Club in Loa. This is great golf weather. Not much wind out there, just clear blue skies and 61 degrees. Should be a great place to be later today. Rose City camera looking across the Willamette. Notice the water is nice and flat and glassy. Not much wind out there. 61 out at the airport. Northwest winds at 6 miles per hour. Here are the other numbers. Again, don't have any issues. You'll run into clouds when you get north of Clark County if you're driving up to Seattle in the next hour or two. And the clouds will be clearing, though. 61 down in Eugene, all clear. 74 in Pendleton, all clear. 61 degrees out in Baker City right now, and yes, all clear. Futurecast for you. Just showing the low clouds here on the west side. Now, we clear out in Kelso Longview, but this is later today, and it shows cloudiness at least being close to the beach. So we'll see how that plan turns out. There's that threat of some scattered showers a little bit later today down in southeastern areas. Bigger push of marine flow means cooler weather surging inland off the Pacific tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day you really notice, hey, this is great. This is much cooler. That's tomorrow with the clouds to start, and then we'll clear out of them during the day, at least inland. There's that thunderstorm threat renewed down in southeastern Oregon tomorrow. So our 7-day forecast. Yesterday was day number 10 of the year of hitting 90 or better. Today, I think 87 or maybe even not quite that warm. Tomorrow, we're back down to 80. We have a cloudy start. 70s to no warmer than 80 over the weekend. Really nice stuff. Call your friends back east or hot and humid. Brag about it. Take advantage. We're great here in the Northwest. Okay, I'll be calling somebody Chris this weekend. That'll be my conversation.
You know, as a matter of fact, I have some friends that are coming in from Florida to visit the Pacific Northwest starting this weekend. So they're going to love it that there's no humidity here. All right, let's take you out to Washington County. Highway 26 in the Banks area, there's a crash where Highway 26 and 47 overlap here west of Banks. The freeway or the highway remains open, but obviously with the yellow lines here, you can see there's some local slowing. So be on the lookout for that. Bringing you in on the Sunset to the Sylvan Hill. We're, of course, slow and steady from 217 to 405. At last check, your trip in from Hillsborough is holding steady right around 24 minutes, and a solid 20 of that is to get you in from Murray to the tunnel. I-84 westbound still a little slow rolling through the Hollywood district. The end of the line out of Clark County has pushed south of SR 500, but you hit the interstate bridge and roll into North Portland, and this is what it looks like. So the total drive right now in from Main Street, China, that's still a 20-minute ride to get you down to the Fremont.
Thank you, Chris. A simple wooden box and a message from Oregon firefighters is helping one family heal after they lost their home in a devastating wildfire. We have that story along with your national headlines coming up.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Now to your morning rush. A federal appeals court voted against President Trump's birthright citizenship executive order. Wednesday, the ruling upholds a nationwide ban on the administration's implementation of the measure. The president is seeking to deny automatic citizenship to the U.S.-born children of undocumented immigrants. Columbia University will pay $200 million to the federal government to restore some of the funding that was cut by the Trump administration over allegations that the university violated anti-discrimination laws. Back in March, the administration canceled $400 million in grants to the school, accusing it of not taking action when Jewish students were facing harassment. And tennis superstar Venus Williams is officially engaged. The 45-year-old confirmed that she is engaged to 37-year-old Italian actor and producer Andrea Preti. The pair have worked to keep their relationship private, and that's a look at your morning rush. Your time now is 8:23. When the Palisades fire tore through neighborhoods near Los Angeles earlier this year, thousands of homes were lost, including one belonging to the Mallon family. But a small wooden chest left on a hiking trail with a connection to firefighters from Bend, Oregon, is now offering hope to a family and a community rebuilding from the ashes.
So we're at a trail literally a couple hundred yards from our house.
Those are beautiful flowers.
A now vibrant path winding through these Palisades hills still shows signs of when the Palisades fire tore through the area.
Doesn't even look like there was a fire here, huh?
I can tell there was.
But something remarkable survived the fire. Something that's more than just wood and metal. Something filled with heart.
What do you see right there? Is that Skull Rock?
Yeah, it's Skull Rock.
You think the treasure's gonna be inside?
Hopefully.
3 years ago, Blake Mallon and his son Grayson brought this treasure chest to Skull Rock, not filled with gold, but with something even more valuable, a chance for strangers to connect.
There it is. We hid a physical treasure chest inside the eye of what is known as Skull Rock. It's not something that you can see unless you crawl through a hole and look to the left.
Dozens of hikers stumbled upon the chest, and many left behind pieces of themselves, messages of love, hope, grief, and healing. A tiny community built through anonymous gestures of kindness.
They left notes like life lessons, like always be nice.
January 7th. May the wind blow gently. That's crazy for January 7th. On your back.
The Palisades fire burned more than 23,000 acres, consuming everything in its path, including Blake and Grayson's home. But it didn't touch their treasure chest.
I had no clue if I was gonna make it or not. Nothing burned.
And then it jumps to 122. The fire may have destroyed the Palisades, but not your box. And then all of a sudden you got people after the fire finding their way to this chest, leaving amazing messages. Look at best wishes. Engine 341 from Bend, Oregon.
To them, the chest placed near ground zero of the Palisades fire is now more than just a symbol of kindness. It's a symbol of resilience, of hope, rising from ash.
There's just been something about this place that just brings the best out of people.
And they've decided to leave the chest there just as it's always been, waiting for the next hiker, the next message,
Never stop adventuring.
the next story.
This is my very first hike since finding out I beat cancer. One thing that has come from the ashes is a realization of what a fire can never burn. Community, love, and connection can't be burned.
I challenge you guys to come find my treasure chest.
In Pacific Palisades.
Should we head back?
Yeah.
Rustelia Caballero, KGW News.
Tired, huh?
Yeah.
I don't have a car. My partner and I just use public transit, so the thought of stuff being cut just really, really sucks.
Next half hour, TriMet is planning to cut some of its bus lines in response to a $300 million budget shortfall. How it could impact your commute. Plus, firefighters resuscitate 3 dogs. We take a look at how a Portland fire prepares to save pets when responding to emergencies.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm China Green. 2 people are dead and 2 others hurt after a violent night in a Vancouver neighborhood. Police say it started with a 911 call from a man who says he was attacked in his home by a man holding a shotgun. Officers later found 2 other victims in another home in that neighborhood, a woman who was already dead and a man who was injured. Later, officers found a man who matched the suspect's description dead in a 3rd home. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Wow. All right. Good morning to you. We have a beautiful sunny, clear sky start here in the Rose City. Temperature sitting at 61 degrees. The big headline today is yesterday we hit 90. Today it's still going to be warm, but we feel pretty confident we'll at least hold in the 80s. I have a 76 at noon, and a high could go as warm as about 87 degrees. The big cool down is really tomorrow. Our Futurecast models show we'll have cloudiness in the morning. That's an increasing surge of cooler air coming in off the Pacific, so only 80. Cloudiness could be around long enough in the morning to hold us in the mid-70s on Saturday, and right now it shows 78 on Sunday.
How about this, gang? We've got lots of Taylor Swifts here for you. Lots of Taylor Swifts in wax figure form.
That's what we're looking at?
Yeah, these are wax figures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Madame Tussauds is unveiling 13 new wax figures of superstar Taylor Swift. The museum worked to design the figures' outfits to match the outfits that she wore on her record-breaking Eras tour. 13, by the way, is Taylor Swift's lucky number.
That's not
well, mine
Travis
too, but it's
Kelce's
not
number.
working out so well for me.
I'm laughing because our producer, Michael, has a question for us. He wanted to ask, what pose would you want to put forth for your own wax sculpture? How would you pose for your own?
How would you pose?
I would do this. So then people would come here and take a picture and act like I'm putting my arm around them.
That's
so
smart.
then it will be
That's
broadcasted
thoughtful.
more. Marketing.
Really? You really thought this through?
No,
I was just going to go with the
genius.
Hey, look, you know. What do you think?
I like the Usain Bolt.
That is so frightening that I don't even want to pose now. I don't even want to pose.
Come on now. We all did it. We all offered.
I'm shutting down the wax museum all by myself.
One more time. One more time.
No, I can't.
Ah, darn it.
The moment has passed.
That was good, though.
All right, let's get you out the door. Sunny day today. Again, the big headline is we're not going to reach 90. Yesterday was 90, 91, 92, 93, really between Portland and Salem, just about all of the reporting sites. It's a beautiful sunny morning, obviously. There's the vineyard from the Salem tasting room camera out in Sherwood. Early morning number, now up to 66 degrees, so 8:30, and we are starting to see the numbers climb. Rose City, beautiful clear start. Been a little light northwest wind, generally less than 10, currently at 6 miles per hour. 61 degrees in Portland. Here's our day planner, 76 at noon. Now still warm, just we're not going to hit 90. And understand that 87, it may be too warm. So mid-80s to maybe 87 degrees. Now we do have cloudy skies at the coast again this morning, and it's another day where at least parts of the beach, especially north up in Clatsop County, may not clear out. This shows current temperatures right now 58 degrees in Astoria, and it is a cloudy start to the day. But it's cloudy also in Kelso at 59 degrees. Otherwise, inland areas are clear. And here come our 7-day forecast numbers. 87 today. We get some morning clouds here in Portland, perhaps tomorrow 80. Certainly on Saturday, 76, developing sun. Sunday, 80 degrees, pardon me, or just cooler. And then it looks like we'll heat back up. But again, it's just a threat of 90 degrees for 1 or 2 days tops. And that's how we get going into next week. Here's Chris.
We've had worse. That gets pretty good for late July. All right, let's get you out the door. One trouble spot in Washington County, Highway 26, where Highway 47 coincides there, west of the Banks area. ODOT dealing with a crash. Looks like on the westbound side of the freeway, there still appears to be some local slowing around that. So give those responders some room on the roads. The Highway 26 drive still really slow right at the Sylvan Hill. Stop and go from there into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. At last check, we're still looking at 24 minutes to get you in from Brookwood Parkway. The East Side Drive still slow and steady coming in from Troutdale. 36 minutes is your 84 westbound drive. The end of the line on Clark County has cleared out of Clark County on I-5. It's down to the Interstate Bridge, but once you get there, all 3 lanes of southbound I-5 slow and steady from the Expo Center down to the Rose Quarter. Guys, that's still a 25-minute commute-ish to get you in from Hazeldale down to I-405.
Thank you, Chris. Top story here at 8:30. Vancouver police arrested a 24-year-old sex offender accused of raping a 12-year-old girl, and they believe he could have other victims.
He was already listed as a level 3 sex offender before this alleged incident. We do want to warn you that some of the details in this story may be difficult to hear. KGW's Amma McCarty brings us more.
Up. Get on the ground or do it now.
On July 18th, officers with the Vancouver Police Department served a warrant on Northeast 143rd Avenue.
Get on the ground right now. On the ground, you're under arrest.
The suspect, identified as Suleiman Abdul Hadi, accused of giving alcohol to a preteen, before raping her at this residence. Court documents also allege the 24-year-old had sex with a 15-year-old girl days prior. Before the incident, the teens were communicating with him, documents say, on Snapchat.
What is going on? Yeah. Okay. Lay down on the ground. Face first on the ground.
Investigators say Abdul Hadi was on GPS surveillance and is a known sex offender, restricted from being around minors. In addition to charges of rape and supplying liquor to minors, he's also charged for failing to register as a sex offender. Detectives releasing this mugshot of Abdul Hadi because they believe there may be, quote, numerous other child victims, specifically young girls ages 11 to 17. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
A reminder this morning, if you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, there is help available 24/7. You can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline. That's the number we have up on the screen right now, 1-800-656-4673.
Governor Tina Kotek is laying out her plan for a slimmed-down transportation bill after she ordered lawmakers back to Salem for a special session. Her plan includes a 6-cent increase in the state's gas tax, a $42 hike in vehicle registration fees, and a $139 increase for title fees. Oh, and electric vehicles would also see an additional $30 fee. Governor Kotek says these are all essential to cover ODOT's funding needs to avoid layoffs.
Taken together, these dollars will cover the ODOT budget in order to maintain basic services for Oregonians and prevent the layoffs of workers who provided basic services.
In the meantime, some Republican lawmakers have pushed back on the new taxes, saying the state should use money from the emergency reserve.
There continue to be options available to the governor and to the legislature to protect jobs, protect boots on the ground, and not raise taxes on Oregonians. We don't even need a special session for it.
The special session is scheduled to start the Friday before Labor Day weekend. Meantime, TriMet announced that it's facing a projected $300 million budget gap.
So we heard from TriMet's GM. He blames part of this budget crisis on the state's failure to pass a transportation funding bill. And he also said cuts are coming to make up for the deficit. Cuts that include reducing bus frequency on several lines, eliminating some low ridership lines altogether, and shortening the Max Green line. TriMet admits that even if lawmakers did pass that funding bill, it still would not have solved all their financial issues. The company claims operating costs are up 50% since the pandemic and also says there's been a $55 to $60 million drop in annual revenue. Fare revenue, that is. We talked to a rider who shared her thoughts on TriMet's problems.
Not just the pandemic, but, drug and homelessness might impact safe people feel riding a bus.
We need riders. We need you to come back to TriMet. Those that left us, come back and try us, and you'll find out how we have turned the ship.
The first cuts are scheduled for late November, although TriMet still hasn't said yet which bus lines will be reduced or eliminated.
Uber is rolling out a program that it hopes will make some women feel safer by letting them choose to be picked up by women drivers. Once it's available, women riders can choose the option on the app. Uber says while it can't guarantee a woman driver, turning on the preference will increase the chances of getting one. We spoke to women Uber drivers at PDX who said that they think the option will be popular. But some of the men we talked to said that allowing women riders to pick the gender of their drivers mean fewer customers for them. Lyft rolled out a similar driver matching option nationwide last year, and Uber will begin its rollout in San Francisco, LA, and Detroit.
All right, take a look at this video. It was shot earlier this morning by the airport. We saw traffic moving a lot more smoothly today compared to yesterday morning. So there's a construction project underway that was originally scheduled to happen between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Yesterday proved those hours were not going to work. So crews will now work from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. Yesterday, the backup was so bad in these 6 and 7 o'clock hours that people got out of their cars and ran to the terminal to try to catch their flight. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz was all over this story yesterday.
This morning was really awful.
Early Wednesday morning at PDX, travelers like Nicole Kay were met with surprise congestion on Airport Way.
It's been nonsense. It's absolutely just crazy.
Leading some flyers to pop out of cars and try to reach the airport on foot, as a road repaving project created a traffic jam that lasted more than an hour.
It's the worst I've ever seen. I basically have to leave tomorrow now.
Frustrating.
We missed our flight, so we had to get rebooked.
Many missed flights and are spending hours at PDX waiting for another plane.
Today, they dropped the ball big time.
Those we spoke with say the airport didn't give them any notice of possible delays.
At least let us know, send an email, do something, and let us know that that it's going to be traffic and to get there early.
As of mid-morning Wednesday, the Port of Portland says the traffic is at least partly tied to overnight paving. They add on their website travelers should be aware of overnight work and allow extra time in case of delays. Still, one man who missed his Alaska Airlines flight showed us this email the airline sent him, warning of delays nearly 2 hours after his flight had already taken off. He, like many others, was stuck booking another flight.
We're now waiting 6 hours for our next flight. So all of this is just so incredibly disappointing. I am really angry with PDX today.
Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
Well, because of the pressure, I guess, the construction there has changed a little bit and was wrapped up earlier and will be over the next couple of days, as Thomas reported in that report. This is I-205 near Airport Way. You may recall that yesterday at this time, we looked at a logjam of traffic trying to exit 205 in both directions to Airport Way, and I can verify what Thomas just said. No major backups like that today. So at least for travelers going to PDX today, we're in much, much better shape. Let's get you out to the west side. Highway 26 still slow and go at the Sylvan Hill. There's the live look, all 3 lanes puttering along. Right now, we're still about 25 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough to downtown. 40 minutes now, the drive from Troutdale. That's kind of the latest slow spot. And a reminder, this weekend, 217 roadwork continues there. This is a full both direction closure of 217 on Saturday night between Greenberg Road and 99W. They're doing some work around the Hall Boulevard overpass. By the way, that Hall Boulevard overpass is slated to open sometime later next month. We'll keep you posted on that. The 217 closure is just for 8 hours, but it's both directions from Greenberg Road to 99W overnight Saturday. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up here on Sunrise, the race to save trapped pets as a Portland home goes up in flames. We're going to take a look at how firefighters prepare for this very situation as they aim to save not only people, but also their pets.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
It was a scary morning for a North Portland family after a fire damaged their home yesterday and put their pets in danger.
A fire crew is raised to save several trapped dogs inside using special equipment to resuscitate 3 of them. Arceline Stevens has the details.
It was smoke inhalation. Yeah, there was a very thick smoke in the house, and unfortunately these dogs were exposed to it and they couldn't get out.
Around 6 early Wednesday morning, Portland Fire and Rescue responded to a house fire in Portland's Portsmouth neighborhood. There, they found 3 people standing outside and a large amount of smoke coming out the home.
Definitely the origin was in the kitchen, and the investigator believes that it may have been a stove. The stove was inadvertently turned on, but we can't be 100% sure of that.
7 dogs still trapped inside. 3 dogs made it out fine, but another 3 had to be resuscitated and another died.
So we have specialized pet oxygen masks that we use, and we have 3 different sizes. On every battalion chief's car, we have 3 pet oxygen masks. One of the battalion chiefs from this morning told me it was the first time in his career that he's seen all 3 of the masks used simultaneously.
While the fire was quickly put out, the house faced extensive damage, and the American Red Cross has stepped in.
We also know that losing a pet that's a lot of grief around that, and so we want to make sure that we're offering mental health help as well. So we have disaster mental health volunteers who can call people who have just lost a pet and help them work through their feelings.
The Red Cross says it's vital to be prepared for a fire.
Your first line of defense is being prepared, and so include your pets in your family plan to escape your house. Think about how you want to take them. If there's a fire in your house, how you want to take them and make sure that they're safe.
And if you ever are in that situation, let officials do the work to try and save your pet.
Once you're out of the house, do not go back in for any reason. We will get there and we will search for any pets that are in there. But the products of combustion these days of plastics are so toxic that one breath can make you unconscious.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Okay, we also have an update to share with you about this little puppy. Adorable, but we just want to let you know he was revived with Narcan after ingesting fentanyl. A week-old puppy called Lazarus should be up for adoption soon. I want him. Lazarus. Was it Lazarus?
Lazarus. Focus on the story, not your want to
I'm
take him home.
Just looking at his face. Okay, Lazarus. Lazarus.
I like the way you're saying it, though, actually. I like that pronunciation. Yeah.
Okay, more details to the story because it just makes it that more heartwarming. He was found unconscious when a woman was stopped by police last week in Washington. He was revived when paramedics gave him a small dose of Narcan. Police also seized an adult dog last week who will eventually be up for adoption as well. But look at that little baby. That's a sweet baby angel right there.
Lazarus.
Lazarus.
That was hilarious. Let's get to Rodneyus now. Rodneyus Hill, what do you got for us?
Nice day. Not warm, but not 90. We think that's the biggest thing we can figure out today is that it's not going to hit 90 degrees. Here's where we are nationally, temperature-wise right now. It is 90 in Little Rock. Again, it's fairly early in the morning, so even by their standards, that's a pretty good warm-up. Out west, though, of course, we're all in the morning hours, 59 in San Francisco. It's all dry. No weather-related issues impacting anything really from California up to Oregon or Washington. Here's the radar. Thunderstorms bouncing along the Gulf Coast. There's a little cluster in northern Missouri up moving into Iowa. But again, we're all dry up and down the West Coast. Now we do have a push of low marine clouds once again, so cloudy skies up and down the coast. Those clouds have moved up the Columbia River into Kelso, Longview, but that's about it. And those inland clouds will be clearing, I think, before noon. The beach, though, you folks in Lincoln City, and especially Seaside, Astoria, Cannon Beach, Long Beach, you may stay in the clouds a good chunk of the day again today. We'll see. It's going to be kind of a flip of the coin as to whether you get at least some hours of sunshine. What this map shows you is what the Weather Service calls their convective outlook. We'll say thunderstorm outlook because that means there's a chance of convection leading to thunder and lightning. This will be in southern Oregon. Any activity here is expected to be scattered and not really looking to be a whole lot, but there is the threat of some lightning down that direction. I mentioned the low clouds at the beach. Here's our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, and that is cloudy to even foggy as you look out over the water. 57 is your current number. You look for highs in the 60s. And then inland, just absolutely gorgeous. Here's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Loa. They got the mowers out on the fairway on the left side. You can see the crews out there working. Temperature 61 degrees, light winds, northwest at 6. And there's downtown Portland, a similar scene with a northwest wind at 6 and a temperature of 61 degrees. All right, elsewhere, what we got going on? Everybody's sunny. We've got west breezes already bouncing to about 25 miles per hour out in the Dalles where it's 72 degrees. Of course, we're watching those 3 blazes now burning in Skamania County. West winds 10 to 20 in that fire zone today, and temperatures will either be similar to yesterday or not quite as warm. Here's a look at Futurecast. It does show the low clouds of the beach this morning. And for some areas pulling out, other areas staying kind of cloudy. Then down here, far southern and southeastern Oregon, a chance of some scattered storms. We start to see a big cool down as soon as tomorrow. This is Friday morning, showing low cloud cover coming into the Willamette Valley. And that's why the 7-day goes 87 today, but only 80 tomorrow. Cloudiness that could last longer in the day on Saturday, only 76. So the weekend is really comfortable. So morning clouds, afternoon sun, potentially in the 70s both days, back up to around 90 degrees on Tuesday. But just for one day, it looks like. All right, it is birthday time. We have ourselves just Olivia today. It's all about you. Clap for Olivia. She's the only one on our list. Yeah. We hope you have a great day today and a fun birthday. 9 years old today. All right, birthdays at KGW.com, and we will celebrate with you. Here's Chris.
Beautiful scenery behind that shot, too. Looked like somewhere from Central Oregon, maybe. All right, let's take you to the Banfield, 84 westbound. This is our latest really slow spot. I don't have any crashes or stalls or anything like that, but I just got 6 miles of really slow and go action coming in from Gateway to the I-5 split. There's what it looks like out near Providence Medical Center. There's the building over on the left-hand side of your screen. Right now, the inbound drive on Interstate 84 to get you in from Troutdale is averaging about 41 minutes, and a solid 31 of that is just from Gateway to downtown. So still pretty heavy on that side of town. I-5 south of town near Capitol Highway. Again, that northbound commute near Taylor's Ferry is pretty thick. Still pretty thick through the 205 interchange in Tualatin. And at last report, the drive out of Clark County. I'll tell you what, the I-5 commute has made its way to the Interstate Bridge, but from there you got about 24 minutes to get you down to the Fremont.
All right, thank you, Chris. Quick reminder here, the KGW School Supply Drive. It's coming soon to a school district near you. And now is the time to sign up to help us out. You can go to kgw.com/school to sign up your business or organization to be an official school supply drive collection site. You can help us.
This is not going well.
Lazarius, you out there?
Wait till we kick off the school drive. It's going to go splendidly, Rod, I promise you. Please, I really am begging you, go to kgw.com/school, sign up your organization or your business to be an official supply drive collection site. You can help us help thousands of kids and teachers in the area with all the tools they need: reading, writing, and arithmetic.
That's a nice finish.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Breaking news we just learned about: wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died at 71 years old. That's according to TMZ Sports. Medics were dispatched to the 71-year-old WWE legend Clearwater, Florida home early Thursday morning, with operators stating that it was regarding a cardiac arrest. Just a few weeks ago, Hogan's wife, Sky, denied rumors that he was in a coma, stating his heart was strong as he recovered from surgeries.
We also have these top local stories to remind you about as we close out the 8 o'clock hour. Sunrise, 2 people died, 2 others were injured after a violent night in an East Vancouver neighborhood. Police say this all started with a 911 call from a man who says he was attacked in his home by a man holding a shotgun. Officers later found 2 other victims in another home in that neighborhood. A woman who was already dead when police got there, and a man they say who was injured. And then later, officers found a man who matched the suspect's description, dead inside a third home. Crews made more progress on the Burdoin fire. This is the one that's burning on the Washington side of the gorge. It's now 13% contained, with about 11,000 acres at this point burned. Firefighters say they built what is described as a defensible space around homes in that area. We also know Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is scheduled to visit the area later this morning. And Oregon Governor Tina Kotek is laying out her plan for a slimmed-down version of the state's transportation bill after she ordered lawmakers back to Salem for a special session. Her plan includes a 6-cent increase in the state's gas tax, a $42 hike in vehicle registration fees, and a $139 increase for title fees. Electric vehicles would also see an additional $30 fee. Kotek says these are all critical to avoid layoffs.
And another sunny day here in Portland. The big headline is yesterday we hit 90. We feel pretty confident we will not do that today, but it's going to be warm. I've got to say 87. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a nice cool down going into the weekend of morning clouds, afternoon sunshine.
Late July, that's pretty awesome. Let's get you out the door with our last, really big slow spot, 84 westbound. That actually looks better than it did a few minutes ago, but we're still looking at about a 40-minute commute to get you in from Troutdale. A solid 30, that's from Gateway. And I-5, it's cleared out of Clark County, but from bridge to bridge, the interstate to the Fremont, you're still looking at about 21 minutes.
Almost 9 o'clock in the morning, that traffic doesn't stop, does it, Chris McGinnis?
Never. It's a good thing, because then I get to keep my job.
Oh, that's true. All right, Chris will be doing his job, Rod will be doing his, China hers. I'll be here as well tomorrow morning for a Friday edition of Sunrise. You can check out the final 2 hours of our show every day, 7 to 9 a.m., exclusively here on KGW+.